Welcome to the 1976 Spruce Meadows Masters, and this afternoon we'll be featuring highlights of the...
And he got in bad trouble there. He lost his stirrups.
Whoa! Well, problems in the triple combination.
91, Ian Miller and Big Ben, International Champion.
The world's best have arrived. Both veterans and newcomers are eager to go head to head on show jumping's biggest stage, the International Ring. It's time to saddle up for the Encana Cup from the Spruce Meadows Masters. Are you ready?
I hope so, Ian. This is going to be really exciting.
Spectacular conditions greeted the very best horses and riders in the world when they arrived in Calgary for the 2013 Spruce Meadows Masters. Sunny skies in southern Alberta have given way to a cloud deck over the International Ring, but that will not cast a shadow on tonight's competition, the Encana Cup. Hello and welcome to Spruce Meadows. I'm Ian Asselin, joined as always by John Garner. The evening of the horse awaits, and with it one of the highlights of the season with the Encana Cup.
It's one of the toughest competitions they have in the International Ring, Ian, and quite frankly one of the hardest ones to handicap. I know over the years it's been very, very difficult. Traditionally not so many clear rounds, and I really want to say I think the same thing again tonight, but it's a very, very strong field out there, and Leopoldo Palacious has his work cut out for him.
This is as strong a field as we've seen at the Masters for a number of years, both on riders and the horse side of the equation, and they're coming out of the stable tonight to take on this course from Leopoldo Palacious. You've walked it. What do you think?
It's a very interesting course, and I have to tell you, it's not as big as I thought it was going to be. It's big enough. There's plenty of large fences out there. But he's got some lines in there that I haven't really seen for a long time from Leopoldo. He's got an oxer out in the middle, then a sharp right-hand turn over the dry ditch. I think it's 8 and 9 to the Athens coins. And then he loops you around to the skinny vertical, which is always difficult, but it's a bit of an island. And that is an area where the riders will be thinking about the time allowed, and you can't do that when you go into the skinny, as you know. And then a long run. The time allowed will be a factor. It always is with his course, so plenty to see.
He uses an extraordinary tool chest. Shadows won't be an issue tonight, it doesn't seem, but the clock's always tough. The technical elements are always tough. We know what we think. Earlier today, we had a chance to canvass the riders competing in this evening's competition to get their sense of the track ahead in the Encana Cup.
I think Leopoldo has he's built a track that's going to test the rider skills and the horse's skills. It's not huge in height. I don't think it's very fair, and it's a nice track. Now I have to say, I think there might be a few clears tonight.
It starts quite okay with 1, 2, 3. This shouldn't be too difficult, and then after already with the combination 5AB is quite big, and here the line 7, 8, 9 really tricky, and then with the triple combination at the end is for sure difficult.
A lot of special fences with the skinny ones, or with the old fences with the same colors. There's a lot of fences what we don't jump the whole year, only here in Calgary every year, but the horses, they classes enough to do that also here.
I think it's a fair track for 1.60 m, but there's definitely a few challenges later in the track down to the triple. There's a bit of a question number of strides you can do, and with the plain brown rails all the way through the triple, it's a bit hard for the horses to get their eye on that and focus on it.
I think at the end that triple combination is going to ride really careful. All brown rails like that is hard for the horses to judge, especially vertical at the end, right towards the in-gate. The horses are anxious coming home, and they're a little tired towards the end of the course, so I think you're going to see a lot of rails there.
An interesting survey from some of the world's best. Leopoldo Palacious has done his work. Clear rounds are a rare commodity. How many will we see, and who will post them?
I want to say we're not going to see more than 4, because that's usually what we get out here on a Friday night. But you look down that field, Ian, 5 or 6 easy. I really do think that the quality is so strong. I just want to go back to one thing, that triple combination they're talking about, those dark rails. without the light, we talked about the low cloud deck, are going to be really, really tricky. Who do I like? Easy Madden. How about that with Simon, reigning World Cup final champion? But the man for me right now is Gerco Schroeder from Holland. He doesn't have a Nations Cup component this week. He's really all about getting his horses ready, getting himself set. He is on his Olympic mount, London. I'm looking for him.
Both solid picks, no doubt. I'm going to actually lean towards the Irish, I think, tonight. Connor Swale has been on fire all season at Spruce Meadows, and this mare, Martha Louise, has quietly become top dog in his stable.
What a summer they had. I mean, started off in the meter 45. Think about that, and now you're at the Masters in the biggest division there is in the sport, and really looking like she belongs. It's a solid pick.
Who will reign supreme at Spruce Meadows? The Encana Cup from the Spruce Meadows Masters when we return.
Integrity, caring, agility, collaboration. Every day, our people go to work delivering inspired solutions in structures and logistics, electricity, natural gas, retail energy, and ports and transportation to homes, businesses, and communities around the world. Find out more at atco.com.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to what comes next, and to help you with whatever your next looks like, to help you make progress and come back even better than before. How do we know it's going to be okay? Because for the 200 years BMO's been in business, we've seen what you're capable of, and we've got your back for 200 more. That's better.
Clear rounds a rare commodity at the Masters during the Encana Cup, and a light shower on the International Ring has not made it any easier over this 510-meter track. Here's how things have unfolded to date. With ne'er a clear round yet, time is tight.
Well, as we suspected, Ian, it was going to be a factor, and Olivier Philippart's just that little bit too slow around the course. It's the price you pay for protecting the rails. And my pick, Gerco Schroeder and London, are railed down, unfortunately, and no jump off for them.
Time not a problem. 4 faults preventing them from advancing to the jump off. Daniel Dusser of Germany, always strong with Cornet, but the clock catches them.
Oh, and that really surprised me. He's usually a master at finding the right pace. And Kevin Stahl at Spruce Meadows for the first time. No luck for him.
Again, pulling a rail over this testing track. Not as large as they thought it might be, but certainly technically demanding. The showers have not kept the crowds away. There's a look at our current leaderboard. Belgium and Germany tied at the top of the standings. And here's a look at the horsepower to come from around the world.
Well, plenty of quality still, and some of the all-time greats there in the sport, but the conditions are deteriorating as we go along. The rain's getting a little bit heavier, and it is getting very cold.
One of the few times in the season we will see Kent Farrington without the sunglasses on as he makes his way through the clock tower with a mare who knows what it takes to succeed in this ring. Blue Angel will take on the 510-meter 13 obstacle track. Blue Angel, a former mount of Lauren Huff, and this season has recognized great success with the great rider from the Chicago area, Kent Farrington, who's had just a remarkable season at Spruce Meadows thus far.
Well, he's a real winner, and he likes to ride at pace, and absolutely perfect for this little mare, Blue Angel.
Ryder McRitchie takes the Cavaliers' salute on behalf of Encana, watching the competition from the center of the ring, an area affectionately referred to as the playpen. Best seats in the house here at Spruce Meadows. Still a huge crowd on hand on a cool, damp evening.
That's incredible, really, isn't it, Ian? They've been streaming in all afternoon, and it's not like they've been caught out with this. This has been in the forecast, this rain, for a few days now. But Friday night Encana Cup, it does bring them out. Let's have a look here. So 1 to 2. Early on, you've got to be on that turn, get through the corner. the Daniel Boone Bridge from the World Equestrian Games in Kentucky, and straight on down to the Beijing Pillars.
Much of the championship collection on display tonight in the International Ring. First of the combinations now.
Got to be very brave there to land and attack the Sydney plank. This is the line I was talking about off the white ox. Oh, he's had it down. Got a right angle turn over the dry ditch, and then 3 strides over the Athens coins, and then you got to keep coming around here to the skinny.
Very careful jumping here with that ground line with the white lathe at the base.
And then a long old gallop to the Rolex and into this triple combination we heard the riders talking about. Triple bar, 2 stride upright, 1 stride upright. That is going to get tight. And then another right angle turn to fence number 13 to finish off.
Time not an issue. It rarely is for Kent Farrington. Almost 3 seconds to spare, but that early rail will mean we have yet to see a clear round here in the Encana.
Little light rub in front there, but nothing really to worry about. This is one you can't take for granted. It's very wide, and I think we heard Kent himself talking about how the horses will be focusing more on the in-gate than the actual jumps at this point.
Always a favorite, regardless of the venue, regardless of the conditions. 38-year-old Christian Ahlmann, the former World Cup champion from Germany, with this stallion, Talobé, leading a very strong German team here at the Masters tournament. Former world #1. A victory tonight would gain him many world ranking points here at Spruce Meadows. Christian Ahlmann underway with Talobé.
More often we're sitting here talking about great horses and great riders and how they match up, or one sitting on one and one riding another, but this is a great partnership. Christian and Talobé have been winners all around the world, and you talked about his world #1 status due in large part to this horse. Knows him inside out, back to front, knows what to expect.
He has carried the colors of Germany in all the pressure cooker environments of this sport. Olympic Games, World Championships, World Cup finals.
Just look at that though, Ian, how he came out of that combination, and then Christian just sat up, asked him to balance back, and right between the hand and the leg, almost skipping down there. And then he closes the leg, asks him for a little bit more, and pow, right off the ground.
Beautiful Dutch-bred stallion, 13 years of age, has a great rapport with his rider. Christian Ahlmann rides on that long stirrup, almost like a dressage length, but it certainly has worked for him.
He's a giant. I mean, the guy's got to be 6'6". A great feel for us. Look how tight through that corner.
Didn't look to be going fast at all, but look at the time here, John, as they come in comfortably under the time allowed. The first clear round. Will he be the lone wolf today in the International Ring?
That's all about knowing your horse, and Talobé doesn't have the longest stride, so you see Christian is always nursing him around these corners, taking the inside track where possible, but no bother at all. And again, that is knowing your horse and knowing what they're capable of.
There is the leader at the Spruce Meadows Masters on a cool, damp evening. The wind isn't blowing, but that's about the only thing positive we can say about the weather here at the moment, as Werner Muff of Switzerland gets ready to go. Lantago is the name of his 10-year-old gelding. Werner was commenting off the top of the show about the stadium, the materials, the things that are unique to Spruce Meadows and how the horses jump them. Let's see if he can solve all of the questions being asked this evening.
I think it's interesting to hear that comment from one of our European riders here, and you are starting to see that in a lot of the European events. Very similar jumps, similar footing. Really, the signage around the ring is the only difference, but this is very, very different. On the grass, the 5-meter poles for one thing, as opposed to 4 meters that they usually see. Makes the jumps look a lot bolder. Actually, I think as a rider, it allows you to gallop at them Makes it a little easier to some degree.
Once the horses get used to this massive stadium, they seem to settle in and like the environment as well. Ooh, the Athens coins come down for 4 faults. You know, to put it in context, 5 football fields, the International Ring. So the Europeans are not used to seeing this size of stadium, with the possible exception of Aachen in Germany.
Well, and it's just a different style, really, isn't it? But he's done a nice job so far. Unfortunately, that one rail he punched out, really got tight there.
So the Athens coins, the lone blemish on the scorecard of Werner Muff, but that blemish will cost 4 faults and leave Germany alone at the top of the standings.
1, 2, yeah. He just galloped right down there in the 3 strides and never really backed himself up. That's where you'd like the horse to just help you a little bit. Even through the triple combination, he wasn't coming backwards. Had to claw his way out over sea.
From the Swiss veteran to the Belgium veteran, Francois Mathy Jr., carrying on the great tradition of his show jumping family. His father, a double medalist at the Montreal Games of 1976. Francois Mathy, you know, we spoke about the size of Christian Ahlmann, another very tall, athletic rider. Francois Mathy, clearly well over 6 feet, well over 200 pounds, very muscular. Yet it doesn't seem to impact his horses at all, and in this case we're talking about his 9-year-old gelding Espadon.
Well, you create an awful lot of leverage when you're that tall and you sit upright. As you see Francois there, so you have to be able to really counteract that with an incredible feel. Quite easy for a rider of his size to overpower his horses. You must keep that stride moving forward, keep them balanced. It's an advantage to some degree, but if you, it can work against you.
By show jumping standards, just a youngster, just a baby at 9 years of age. But in the hands of a veteran thus far, they've had a nice round here in the International Ring.
Well, Francois, another one that I really think benefited from having the summer here at Spruce Meadows. He got very comfortable in the ring, made some adjustments to his horses as the summer rolled on, and has come back to the Masters here in fighting form. Oh, he got by with one there.
The rain continues to fall on the International Ring, something that Francois Mathy should be accustomed to, given his home nation.
Very nice ride. Got himself balanced, slowed him down. You really have to trust that triple bar going in.
Stretching out over the oxer. Look at the time. Not much to spare. 4/100ths of a second means we have a jump off at the Masters.
Let's have a look here. Worked really hard to get Espadon back. Knew he was going to have a big stride once he got in there, so got quiet to the triple bar and then trusted in the horse's carefulness to get him out over B and C.
The young gelding delivers. Really seemed to like his job as you watched him, that head-on shot coming into the combination. He was listening, attentive, and now he gets the rewards. Maybe a sugar cube in advance of the jump-off here at Spruce Meadows. We move on down through the order of go. Martin Fuchs, the next generation of family Fuchs, say that fast 3 times, out of Switzerland. No stranger to the winner's circle. I shouldn't say that. No stranger to success here at Spruce Meadows, having a couple of years ago arrived at the medal podium in the CN International. He is underway aboard Future.
Well, I just want to go back to what you were talking about there with Francois. You're talking about how pleasant the horse seemed to be, how he liked his job. Temperament is critical in this sport, and not just from the horse but from the rider. You've got to be so even-keeled. Your horse is going to pick up on your reaction to things, and if you get a little bit hot out there, a little bit excited, they will overdo it.
A little bit eager coming into fence number 9 there with our young horse and young rider combination. Future just 9 years of age. Martin in his early 20s.
Well, that's set up all by the dry ditch, Ian. He over-jumped the dry ditch. and wasn't able to back himself out on the 3 strides. Very strong coming in. Paid the price.
See the water droplets coming off the brown rails, joined by the rail on the ground. So 2 on course, 1 time fault for our young combination out of Switzerland, Martin Fuchs and Future.
Just overjumped that triple bar, and as he's trying to balance Future back, he was all over the Athens coins. Give it a hefty whack, and see here, he comes in that very strong. Future overjumped again to the B element and had very little room to get out over the final one.
Soggy conditions on the International Ring at Spruce Meadows, not at all dampening the competition nor the enthusiasm of the crowd as they prepare for the former world champion from Ireland to take on the Encana Cup, Dermot Lennon. Great rider who has had tremendous success, none of course more than his world championship scored in Spain a number of years ago, and now he is underway at the Spruce Meadows Masters with Hallmark Elite. This is a 13-year-old gelding. Dermot Lennon in for the ride.
Well, a real useful type. He's quick, he's careful. Horse that on his day can win anything. And you talked about Dermot, and you don't get to be a world champion by accident. A real horseman.
Early rail over the Beijing Oxer there.
Really didn't need to have that one down, Ian, quite frankly.
So holding it to the number that have advanced to the jump off as our 2002 world champion makes his way around the ring.
And this is a part of the course too as a rider. Then you have to say, okay, if I can keep it at 1 rail down, I still get a good prize out of this, the way this is shaping up. I get a fast 4 faults.
Very good point, with over $200,000 on the line this evening at Spruce Meadows, and just 2 having qualified for the jump off.
And you have to think it's not going to get any easier for those coming afterwards. The rain keeps falling as it is.
So a quick trip around the course for Dermot Lennon, 73 and change on 4 faults. Will keep him in the standings here at Spruce Meadows.
It was a very swift ride. He definitely got on his bike halfway around there. He will be frustrated with that rail down. Just a little bit of carelessness on the part of Elite.
The great veteran from Ireland departs the stadium. The bell sounds in the International Ring for a debut of sorts here at Spruce Meadows. There's a look at the teenager from Canada, the lone Canadian competing this evening. Ben Asselin, having enjoyed great success in the children's and junior divisions coming up through the ranks, is now at the top of the game with McAvoy in his first 1.60 m FEI international competition.
He had a bit of a rough go earlier in the week, Ian. It certainly looked like it was his first time at this level. He wasn't comfortable in the ring at all. And not something you'd expect to see from Benny. He sits very nicely on his horses. He has a very good feel. And this is a real trier. He doesn't have the greatest technique, but man, can this horse McAvoy find his way to the other side of the fence. But the first thing I'll tell you right now is I like how Ben's attacking things. He's sitting up a little bit more. He's a little more upright in the saddle than he was earlier in the week. You can see his shoulders back there. That gives McAvoy a chance to get his shoulder and 4 legs out of the way.
Showing a lot of confidence in the 10-year-old gelding as they head to the triple.
You see that?
You don't see that happen often. Will it be the luck for Ben Asselin tonight on a clear round as he approaches the final obstacle? Indeed, Ben Asselin enjoys the ranks of the clear rounds. Just 3 scored to date, and there's the smile on the teenager. From here in Calgary, Alberta, Ben Asselin puts a notch in the belt.
Yeah, and good for him. He knows he got by with one. He got a little bit lucky. But you know what? He also earned the lucky, and he put in a great trip. Look how much it bounced out. But what I like by that is he didn't panic. He didn't suddenly try and change his mind and alter his plan coming into that triple combination, and great focus and determination to the last. It would have been very easy to flog your way through there. So just get me to the finish line.
He must have caught a glimpse at the scoreboard coming down that line, because he knew he had a clear round across the finish line, and he can prepare for a jump off against two of the sport's great veterans, Francois Mathy and Christian Ahlmann. Notre Star is the 12-year-old stallion in the ring right now. The lone Spanish representative at this year's Masters. Puyola might not be enjoying the weather out there so much now.
Yeah, not something necessarily used to in Barcelona or Madrid, but anyway. And it's, boy, it's not even just the rain though, is it, Ian? It's cold.
It's dropped about 20 degrees in the last 24 hours to about 8 on the International Ring right now.
I have noticed that when it rains here, it doesn't stay warm. Anyway, back to the job in hand. Useful little stallion, Notre Star. Bouncy little type. He's not very big. Doesn't have the longest stride.
It's kind of a toe drag over the combination there for 4 faults, and then the front end takes down the Sydney planks.
It's a bit of an excuse me knockdown really at the black and white combination there. Nicely done. Over the dry ditch in the Athens coins, 8 and 9. And the skinny as well. So 3 rails down so far for Puyola. Should be really working hard now to keep it at that. But this is a part of the course now. You turn around and say, okay, now I need to learn this so that next time I'm in this position, hopefully with a clear round, I'll have a better idea of how to execute.
Well, they kept the pace at 400 meters per minute, but the 3 rails will deal our Spanish combination out of the equation. Look at the drift there.
It really came in hard right to left, didn't it? And maybe that was just why that plank came down, having to work so hard to get him back on line. Little dangly there with the front legs at the red rail.
The jump-off roster remains at 3 here at Spruce Meadows in the Encana Cup as we get to the latter stages of our opening round of competition. Spruce Meadows rookie Romain Duguay of Switzerland next to go. He's aboard a 9-year-old mare. Seen a lot of 9-year-olds go tonight. Some have handled it better than others. Let's see how this chestnut mare with Romain Duguay handle the Leopoldo Palacious track. It has been a test for most.
I was chatting with Swiss chef Stefan Montavan earlier today actually, and having a chat about Romain. He said he's very excited to come here for his first time, and Stefan very pleased to have him on his team, giving him a chance to go out and see some of these big events. And I said it only bodes well for these nations when they can get their riders with this major championship experience.
Well, and Stefan has done a great job at giving other riders an opportunity, and it's paid dividends for the Swiss team, especially this season through the Furusian Nations Cup, winning the Division 1 regular season in Europe.
And he's really attacking this course with some gusto.
The dry ditch, ooh, a little stumble there.
Yeah, that's too bad. Looked like he had the yellow vertical down the dry ditch behind, and like we've seen with so many, you overjump that one, you have no chance at the Athens coins.
Great example of related distances and consequences here on the 8-9 combination in the Encana Cup. Now in the triple with 1 left to go. Ooh, pulls a rail on the way out for 12.
Really, Ian, it's the same exercise. You overjump B, C becomes very, very tight. She's a big striding mare. Let's have a look here. Yeah, it just ticked it down behind, but you could see how long she was galloping at that. And boy, you need a horse that really can back itself out in a hurry if you're going to attack a line that strong.
Rain continues to fall on the International Ring as we greet Beezie Madden, the reigning Rolex World Cup champion, one of the all-time greats in this sport, and that legacy continues with Simon in their second season together. This spectacular gelding, and there's a look at the always smiling John Madden from the clock tower here. He's got his game face on as he watches Beezie take on the International Ring, where she, in her career, has established herself second all-time in monies won here. And if she'd only had Simon a couple of years back when he jumped to victory in the CN International, she'd be at the top of that chart, but that reward went to Jeroen Dubbeldam of the Netherlands. Underway now, Beezie Madden and Simon.
You know, it's interesting, Ian. They are the reigning World Cup final champions, but I get the sense that they're still learning each other periodically. There are some things about Simon that Beezie's still got to adapt to, and there's a style of how Beezie rides that Simon's got to adapt to still. I do think it's only a matter of time that they really do click. And that would be one of those points right there. I mean, for a rider of her ability and a horse of all his quality, that jump really shouldn't come down.
So the Athens coins deal Beezie Madden out of the equation, at least the jump-off equation here at the Spruce Meadows Masters this evening. Simon handles the triple combination without effort. Time will not be a problem, nor is the final obstacle, but they will not lay claim to the title here at Spruce Meadows tonight.
You know, we say often how somebody will put in a trip and they'll be, have a rail, and they'll be okay with that. The Maddens will not be okay with that. You know, she came in at a nice lick, but you expect him to back away off that front rail, and he didn't. But he did through C. That's what you want from him. That was a great ride.
4 faults tonight. Such was not the case in 2008 when Beezie Madden rode Judgment to a memorable Rolex moment in time. The 2008 Encana Cup came down to a 2-horse jump-off featuring 2 of the sport's all-time greats. Beezie Madden, coming off 2 medals at the Beijing Olympics just a month previously, was last to go. Roger-Yves Bost with his bay stallion, Ideal de la Loge, was in the clubhouse on a clear round. Beezie Madden had to go clear and fast to lay claim to yet another Spruce Meadows title. At the south end of the stadium, near the turnback, they slipped, causing valuable seconds on the clock. But Beezie Madden, one of the greats, was able to gather her horse, gather her thoughts, and continue over this jump-off course. Posting the fastest intermediate time, she continued down the final line of the Leopoldo Palacious course and powered over the final vertical, stopping the clock in 45.3 seconds, laying claim to yet another Spruce Meadows title. Beezie Madden stepped forward to hoist the hardware. Your champion from the United States, Beezie Madden. We have 3 clear rounds in the Encana Cup at the Spruce Meadows Masters as British veteran, British great Michael Whitaker aboard Eros is our second from last to go before we move on to that jump off, which currently has Canada, Belgium, and Germany represented. Michael Whitaker with Eros.
Well, I guess that is, in the end, Ian, why you have historical data, right? Historically, this competition throws up 2, 3, maybe 4 clear rounds. I was thinking 4 or 5 easy. I'm not so sure now. This is an interesting horse, this Eros. Quite young, new a ride for Michael. But he was saying this is as scopy horse as he's ever ridden. He jumps himself into trouble at times. So I think watch out down that dry ditch line.
Nicely in here. If anyone can sort that little issue out, it certainly is the master from Great Britain, Michael Whitaker.
Certainly as a rider, it's a nice problem to have. I'd much rather have a horse that jumps itself into trouble than one that can't jump itself out.
Ooh, that was the lightest of rubs. I think a bit of a drift by the horse caused that problem. Nonetheless, 4 faults for Michael Whitaker, who won this event so many years ago with the great Monsanta.
That is a while ago, isn't it?
I believe it was around 1989.
Well, a little bit of greenness there from Eros. He jumped in well enough over the triple bar, but again, just couldn't quite get himself backed up and out. So 3 rails down and the time fault. That was too bad, actually. I think Michael had done the work. He'd got him back. And then just a little bit loose with his front legs. But there he never came back at all, B or C.
Well, we've seen some great young horses at Spruce Meadows this evening. Michael Whitaker leaves with the 9-year-old Eros. We have another 9-year-old in Espadon that's advanced to the jump off. And here is Connor Swale with his young star, the 9-year-old Martha Louise. Now, we've seen this mare perform spectacularly through the season, coming up through the divisions, but exclusively under ideal conditions. Let's see how she now handles the heavy rain and what it's meant to, not the quality of the footing, but the feel of the footing underfoot for these horses.
Well, it is really coming down now, isn't it? And I think the other thing is it's come down fairly quick at this point, that it's really not had a chance to get into the ground. So it could be a little bit slick on top. When you can hear her footfalls, it's still very solid. I just love how this mare travels across the ground, though. She stays right on top. It's got a real nice stride and just flies through the air. A little bit of a tap there, but it might just be a bit of a wake-up call for her. Ooh. Front and back now. Lovely expression on the face, Ian. See those ears are pricked forward all the time.
Really likes the job at hand, really likes the ride Connor gives her. Oh, the dry ditch comes down, so we know this for sure. 3 in the jump off here at Spruce Meadows.
And the skinny rail.
Bit of a green issue there, I think, not paying enough respect to that skinny red vertical.
Well, it's been a little bit tappy all the way around, hasn't she? So maybe she's not wild about the rain. I mean, horses traditionally would prefer, obviously, not to jump in it, as everybody would.
That they shouldn't have signed on to jump with Ireland. Connor Swale finishes up with Martha Louise. 8 faults.
I think Connor will tell you, though, this is a round that they can learn from. She'll only get better from it. Oh, you're right. She came through the corner there. She wasn't even looking at the jump. Saw it last minute. Well, she'll be better for that trip.
Back to dry dock for Martha Louise as we wrap up the first round of the Encana Cup from the Spruce Meadows Masters. 3 have advanced to the jump-off.
As we expect, there'll be rails aplenty around this course, but that line, number 8, the dry ditch, to number 9, the Athens coins, take in victims aplenty.
Christian Ahlmann with Tallow Bay certainly showed why they've been at the summit of this sport, posting the first clear round and setting the standard for the rest to chase.
Well, it's going to be a real interesting jump-off, Ian. 2 veterans right out of the gate. Christian Ahlmann, you just talked about, and Belgium's Francois Mathy on Espadon. There's no question in my mind they will be eyeing each other up.
Two veteran riders, a young horse and a veteran horse, and how about this into the equation? The teenager from Canada, Ben Asselin, aboard McAvoy.
Well, what experience for young Ben, but I tell you, he rode a super round. He's full marks for being in that jump off. Now, the job for him is keep his composure and keep his focus and not get drawn into whatever else happens.
He will be last to go in this three-horse jump-off. 375-meter track Leopoldo Palacious has designed for those that could handle all of the challenges of round number one. Look at Martha Louise cooling down from her efforts, and there's the big stallion Talobé coming up towards the clock tower. Jumps numbers 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, an add-on number 15, 12 BC, and 13. So Leopoldo Palacious is having them work here in the jump-off over 375 meters as the rain continues to pour. 57 seconds the time allowed. I don't expect it to be an issue, but tough to be the leadoff rider in these conditions, but what a veteran pair we have to lead things off. Ryder McRitchie seeing the best in the sport from the dry environment of the playpen. Look at that rain come down, my goodness.
Well, for sure, Ian. I mean, you touched on it briefly. Is, you know, you always want to be in the anchor position. You want to be that last rider coming in. It's a supreme advantage. But when you've got the kind of experience that Ahlmann and Talobé have together, it won't worry him so much. He knows what his job is. Go clear. And just put it in the minds of the riders following that maybe they have to go faster than they'd like to.
Certainly on the most experienced horse that has advanced to the jump off in the Encana. The 13-year-old stallion Talobé is underway.
Already look at that, 1 to 2 drop really tight. Barely had a straight stride at number 2. Just dynamite through the turns. Doesn't have the longest stride on this big field, but very direct across the plank.
And certainly very good at keeping the horse well balanced underneath in these conditions. Look at this turn back to 15.
Oh, he had it down.
That opens the door for Mathy and Asselin.
Oh, he'll be mad about that. There's a perfect track. Absolutely perfect line to start that course.
Good pace. One rail.
Well, that's the risk you take in the jump off. Let's have a look. He comes down very, very tight. I mean, okay, you could turn around and say, Ian, first off, you know, why'd you go so tight? But I mean, he's just trying to slam that door shut.
Just unable to cover by the smallest of margins. Christian Ahlmann begins his waiting game. Will 4 and Fast win it tonight? Is there a double clear in the cards with 2 remaining? The 9-year-old gelding with Belgian veteran Francois Mathy look through the waters of the International Ring and get ready for the jump off.
Well, this has suddenly got very interesting, Ian. What does Francois Mathy do? Does he worry about the time, or is he going to go post a clear round and maybe hope that the energy of the day, the experience of the day, gets to young Ben Asselin? Obviously, he's never been in this position before, and it looks to me that's exactly what he's trying to do. Just keep the fences up. And he's down.
That's where that strategy can prove costly. He's had a rail well into the track and not carrying a lot of ground speed.
Well, he's going to be miles off the pace now. Wow. What can young Ben Asselin do as Francois Mathy comes to the back end of the course, hoping to keep it at 4, but oh, barely.
Bit of a rub there. Time getting tight here. Our time allowed in the jump off, 57 seconds. And he gets in under the time allowed. So he keeps it to 4 with 1 left to go. Germany leads the way.
Locked up a little bit on the turn, didn't he there? He just stayed out a little more to the right, hung on that right rein. Boy, he really laid on that plank.
You can hear the 40,000 plus on hand at Spruce Meadows this evening, welcoming the storyline of the day, regardless of the result. Ben Asselin in, lone Canadian in the Encana Cup, one of 3 clear rounds. Underway aboard McAvoy, a clear round would mark his first major international win, and what better place to have it than at the Spruce Meadows Masters.
Well, so far, Ian, he's on track. 1 to 2, he did nicely. He hasn't gone overly conservative. I like how he's tackling it. You know, again, he's still got to leave the jumps up. There's no point taking a ridiculous risk. Don't worry about beating Ahlmann's 4 faults with a faster 4 faults. Nice ride.
Gives McAvoy a good opportunity at the orange and white Oxer as we come into the home stretch.
Got to stay composed here. It gets so tight. Flipped his legs a little bit at 8.
1 left to go. Will it be victory for Canada?
He's done it.
Can't keep your mouth open too long, Ben. You'll drown out there. Ben Asselin of Canada into the history books at Spruce Meadows. What a day for this teenager.
Well, it has to be said, Ian, he's shown, you talked about it, through his junior career that he's got the wherewithal to do it. He's got the talent, there's no question. But when would that opportunity present itself? Well, there it is. What a job. Double clear round and victory in the Encana Cup.
Much to the delight of the crowd here at Spruce Meadows. Great enthusiasm for that young man whose journey to the victory circle will continue.
I'll tell you, man, having been there, that is the hardest thing to get done. Stay composed at that last jump. You want it to get over with so quick. And you can see the exuberance on the young man's face. Well done, Ben Asselin. High fives all around the back as the rain continues to pour. But we'll be back with presentations when we return to Spruce Meadows.
Paying attention to the smallest detail. Getting to the destination the most efficient way possible. Ensuring all individual elements are working together to drive high performance. And making sure you do it consistently. Being the best comes down to perfect execution. That's not just good show jumping. That's good railroading. We love a sport that rewards precision.
The 2013 Encana Cup at the Spruce Meadows Masters was a soggy affair. 23 horse rider combinations started around the Leopoldo Palacious designed course, and 3 were left standing. In the jump off, first one back was German veteran Christian Ahlmann and his veteran horse Talobay. One rail down in a quick time would leave the door open for Belgium's Francois Mathy. Unfortunately, a rail down for him, and he would be slower than Ahlmann and sit in second. That left the opportunity of a lifetime for Canadian young rider Ben Asselin on the home track at Spruce Meadows on his chestnut gelding McAvoy. And with a ride beyond his years coming down this final line, Asselin would guide the chestnut gelding to a double clear round and the title of Encana champion. What a performance in horrible conditions, it has to be said. Temperature plummeting and the rain lashing down, but victory assured. The Maple Leaf will fly proudly over the international ring, and the story of a lifetime for Ben Asselin, Christian Ahlmann, and Francois Mathy in the jump-off. And here is the champion with Ian Allison.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On an historic night here at the Spruce Meadows Masters, a little rain wasn't going to dampen history. The newly crowned champion of the Encana Cup from Calgary, Canada, Ben Asselin. So, Ben, we spoke earlier this week. You were so excited about debuting in this division. This is a heck of a baptism.
I really don't have any words. This doesn't even seem real right now. McAvoy is just an unbelievable horse, and I'm so lucky to have him. And the opportunity to compete at the Masters, let alone against the crew behind me, is just surreal.
Well, I'm going to bring it into reality. Tell me about the jump-off against Christian Ahlmann, Francois Mathy, 2 of the best in the world. This has got to feel pretty sweet.
Yeah, I had lots of people at the in-gate tell me that there was no clean round, so I thought I'd take a shot and just go a little bit slower and try to leave the jumps up. And it paid off.
It certainly did pay off. You're the newly crowned champion and the man that had the best seats in the house tonight. This is an historic day, isn't it, Ryder McRitchie?
Oh, it was a fantastic day. I was looking down the agenda and I said, well, who's the Canadian in the field? And they said, well, he's family. So just an amazing event to take in and see. Yeah, so congratulations, just fantastic.
Well, we only had to send one, but he did a good job, didn't he?
Exactly, he did a fantastic job. It was thrilling to watch, and just really happy to be able to be here today and watch it with everybody here.
Well, a worthy champion, the only double clear, and now our youngster gets to reap the rewards for a day's work in the international ring. It's about to get really good, Ben.
Yes, congratulations, and geez, not many, yeah, spend it wisely.
$67,600. That will help with his university tuition next week. Ben Asselin lays claim to the Encana Cup. I will take it back. Gentlemen, you've been waiting for this your whole life, Ben. Step forward and hoist the Champions Trophy in the international ring at Spruce Meadows. Ben Asselin, ladies and gentlemen.